Well, okay, I guess I'm like, drop what you're doing
good.
because of the climate. Because this is
Mm.
the best thing you'll see right now that's current in the superhero world.
Yeah.
You're not going to get this from Marvel or DC or any of those other superhero places. This is the best thing you're going to get. This is Geek Off the Street, your go-to channel for all things from obscure geekdom to modern day pop culture and everything else in between. What's up, everybody? We're back.
Yeah, we are.
Bam, bam, bam. We're just shooting guns. Yeah, we are back.
That is true.
That's the truth.
Yes,
that's
that is
the
true.
yeah. If
That's
anything, take that. That's probably the only truth you'll get is that we are back this week. Because my name's Trent.
And my name is Mark.
And this is Geek Off the Street, the greatest podcast of all time.
Yes.
Talk about geek culture, pop culture, whatever else you want. Deal with it.
Today's no exception.
That's what I was looking for. I was trying to. I was like, what's my next line?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Line.
I'm looking off camera. Line. Got somebody back there can tell me.
Yeah. That's what we need.
Yeah, right, yeah. But no, it's not an exception because we are getting into the recently concluded
Season 2
Yeah.
of
Invincible.
on
Yes.
Prime.
Amazon Prime, yeah. The animated superhero series based on the comic.
Yes.
Robert Kirkman.
Right.
Yeah.
And a couple other people.
Ryan Otley, I think, was the original artist, and there's a different artist after that. Or is it the other way around? I forgot.
Something like that.
It's switched up how. But yeah.
Watch our first episode about it.
Yeah. It's
Why are
back
you harassing us right now?
yeah, I don't remember those kind of facts. Margie was here. He's read all of them multiple times through. That's like his favorite comic book.
Right.
Still trying to figure out why, but it is though. Yeah. And that's what we're getting to. Season 2 recently concluded on Amazon Prime. And we're gonna get into that.
We are going to get into it.
But first, what are we drinking this week? We came up with a drink today.
Yeah.
This is called the
I need to look at the
Master Chief Mountain Dew cocktail, and it's courtesy of. I'm starting a little bit. Sorry. My old neighbor, David Martinez, LazyBot Studios. He's an artist, super awesome guy. He gifted us this exclusive Mountain Dew flavor. It's like a Halo Infinite from Xbox.
And you can't find it anywhere.
Can't find it anywhere. It's gone.
Unless you look for it.
Yeah.
Then you'll find it.
Right. Yeah. But it's all gone. It's hard to get now. He sent us a 6-pack, a 12-pack of it. Man, super nice of him. We gotta get him on the show eventually. We're gonna work on that.
Yeah.
David, we're working on it, man. But he sent us these this 12-pack Mountain Dew. That's the citrus cherry flavor. And like I have done with every other collectible in my life, I just opened it because I was thinking maybe it'll be like worth something someday. But I was like, I can
enjoy it right now for myself.
Exactly. I can taste the flavor, and it expires in April.
Tomorrow.
So tomorrow. So I was like, I need to drink it if I'm gonna drink it, So
once that time clock,
the
deadline hits,
right,
it implodes.
Yeah. Right. So sorry, David. Apologize for opening it after you told me it's gonna be worth something, but I want to try it.
Yeah.
And I'm glad we did because we made this cocktail with it, which is comprised of gin.
Yeah. A little bit of lime juice,
and then this citrus cherry
and an easy
Mountain
stir.
Dew. Yeah, super easy, super simple, very refreshing.
Very refreshing.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Gin is always great.
Amazing. Yeah.
Lime juice, great compliment.
With that, and then this new flavor, really brings it together. I was happy with it. But yeah, so David,
you could probably do that with any. Well, maybe not any. I'm doing like regular Mountain Dew.
Oh,
that worked, but
I'm sure. Well, I'm gonna try it.
Yeah.
I just figured Mountain Dew's so sugary that anything mixed in it probably is fine.
Yeah.
I think I even saw like a whiskey Mountain Dew sour
whiskey
type
with
thing.
Mountain
Yeah.
Dew? Yikes.
Apparently that's good, but I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, David, thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
But yeah, that's gonna bring us into some shout outs. Quick shout out to one of my oldest friends. His name was Brandon Dressel. I haven't talked to him or seen him in a long time. He lives in Colorado now. We kind of felt a contact maybe 7 or 8 years ago.
Yep, life.
And then I found out he had left. He moved to Colorado with his family. He's got 2 kids now. But yeah, I reached out to him a couple days ago. I was just like, hey man, how's everything been? And we talked for a little bit. He said he listens to the show.
Wow, very cool.
Yeah, just subscribed to our channel on YouTube too, man. And he said he watched all my vlogs and everything too. He's like, yeah, I love watching all your stuff, man. It's been
How much
really
money
fun.
has he sent?
Yeah, Brandon.
You gotta work on that. It's all right. You work
Take
on
some
that.
money out of your kid's college fund and send it to the GOTS fund.
Get your priorities figured out.
But he did say though, because he saw the GOTS classes,
Yeah.
And he's like, man, do you guys have a merch store? I'd like to buy some of those. And I was like, that's a good idea. Let me work on that. Yeah. So, but yeah, Brandon, man, thank you, dude. Miss you, dude. Hope you're doing well.
That's very cool. Yeah, man.
Yeah, hopefully we can get you out here one of these days. But he said he's having a good time in Colorado. Him and like even his parents, everybody up and moved from California to Colorado. His brother, they all just moved out there.
Wow.
So seems like they're.
It's got to be very cold out there. Maybe not right now, but it might be cold out there
probably
right
still
now.
A little
It's
cool.
probably still a little
At the very least, cool. Yeah, it's a little cool here, man.
Yeah,
raining outside right now.
Yeah, man, we got hit with a storm out of nowhere.
Yeah,
like,
that was nuts.
No rain, and then all of a
I
sudden
was
a ton of rain.
on my way over here, and I was looking at the light post when I was turning on the street to come down to the studio, and like the water was going sideways, completely sideways, and it was hitting my windshield sideways. And I was like, yeah, this is weird.
Yeah,
that's pretty stormy.
Yeah, I went to a restaurant. I walked inside, placed an order, whatever, and just
bone dry.
Bone dry.
Yeah.
And then just and driving down there, I was thinking like, man, I thought it was supposed to rain this weekend.
Yeah,
liars.
Yeah, they never get it right.
Never get it right. And then I turned around and looked out the window, and a downpour. And I said like, holy shit! And I was like, oh, because I realized like, oh, I'm in public. I can't. I don't care.
I guess you can.
Yeah, I guess you could. But I was like, I should probably get some control and not just start cussing out loud. But yeah, it caught me by surprise. That's my point.
Definitely. It's a freaking April, damn near almost May, and it's
April showers.
Raining. Yeah.
Bring May flowers. Somebody said that once.
Yeah, right. Some other shouts. I think I want to shout out. We got a new review on Apple Podcasts. But while I'm pulling this up, if you guys want to go leave a review on Apple,
this is the opportunity to do it right now.
Yeah, you shoot over there. It takes a couple seconds. Leave a review, and it really, really helps the visibility of the show, and it really helps us out a lot. But we got a new review, and this is
been doing that while Trent was talking.
Yeah, exactly. So I could have been reading right now, but too late now. Too late. You missed your opportunity. This one is from Zoe Elderbrain.
It's
obviously one of our favorites, Zoe. Yeah. Zoe did great. But yeah, so she left this review for us and said, Trent and Mark with a C. Spelling right.
Namaste.
Really do host the greatest podcast of all time. Deal with it. This is like, she's really nice. She's like, you are absolutely amazing guys with a great taste and love for everything geek culture. You guys are so down to earth and funny. I feel like listening to you is like hanging out with my best friends, debating our favorite characters and shows, even if we don't always agree. But that's what makes it fun. I can write 1,000 good things about you guys, but in all, I just want to let you know how much I appreciate you guys and look forward to your show every week.
Wow,
Zoe,
man,
you are the best. Cheers to you.
Fly her out here.
Yeah, right.
Man,
get you on the show.
Come on.
Yeah, just leave the cold place that you live and come back to
here.
California. Yeah, because we'd love to have you on the show. But yeah, no, Zoe is the best, man. She's one of our favorite fans, man. She's super engaging, shares everything, responds to everything we post, listens to every episode. So yeah, ideal fan. Yeah, super cool. Yeah, thank you, Zoe.
Man, she's been on other podcasts, I've heard.
Yeah,
she makes music too.
Exactly, right. And she's starting her own podcast, the Mind Matter Mystery. That's gonna be awesome. I know it's gonna be awesome when it comes out. Yeah, what were you gonna say?
No, about the same thing. I was gonna mention the ramin. Like you guys are both into ramen.
Both into ramen. She makes her own ramen from scratch. Yeah, come on.
You're the only two people.
Yeah, like in the
outside of a restaurant.
Yeah, outside a restaurant that made, and even then, a lot of restaurants don't do their stuff from scratch. But yeah, no, literally, I don't have met anybody else that doesn't have a restaurant that makes ramen from scratch.
Dude,
so yeah, Zoe, you are the best. So I appreciate
cheers
you.
To you.
Yeah, cheers to you. I think that's probably it. Oh no, cheers. Major shout out to Need to Watch. Need to Watch talked about last week.
I saw that.
Yeah, he commented on our stuff, but he designed our thumbnail for this last week. We've been struggling a lot with our engagement and growth, even though we're putting a lot of time into
a little bit.
Yeah. But we were putting a lot of time into this, and we're not. We feel like sometimes the results aren't what we think they should be. And Need to Watch he really spelled out what he thinks are some areas of improvement.
Really good tips. Yeah,
and he really helped us out. This whole episode has been kind of the upload for last week's episode was completely different based on a lot of the tips he gave us, and he designed our thumbnail for us. That was on the house, I think.
Yeah.
So appreciate it, man, dude. You are.
Let's hope it's on the house.
Yeah, right. We'll get a bill in the mail pretty soon here. But But seriously, man, thank you so much, dude. Whatever we can do to help you out, let us know.
Yeah.
Check out his channel, Need to Watch. He talks a lot of video game content, that kind of stuff. And he streams on Twitch also. So
yeah, very cool.
Yeah, check
you don't have to. Yeah, he doesn't have to help. He didn't have to.
Yeah,
to give any advice. Didn't have to do anything.
You have to reach out and give me the ridiculous amount of information that I wouldn't have learned if someone didn't tell me.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So yeah, people are all right, man. Sometimes you think like, man, the world sucks, people suck, blah blah blah. But there are good people out there.
Just for the hell of it, just for being good, and that's thank you.
Just like the hero of the show.
Yep, just Invincible.
I was gonna say Mark Grayson. Grayson, that's it. Yeah,
that's the name. Yeah. Which is the show we're talking about.
That is what a coincidence.
Yeah, we're getting right back into it. Yeah. So I wish I was like Invincible because I am in a lot of pain right now. So I just freaking ran the 10K Spartan race, the super.
Good for you.
And I am cramping up in all parts. There are muscles I didn't even know I had that hurt. And I fell on my shoulder pretty bad in the mud. And it hurts.
I'm gonna be walking.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be like just giving little
not just right,
just out of nowhere. Just, how you doing, buddy?
Right.
How you doing?
It's to the point where I'm so sore right now that I'm worried about going to sleep and how I'm gonna feel tomorrow morning. It's just gonna be it's gonna be miserable.
It's gonna be bad.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty rough. But
you need to get messed up tonight.
Exactly. That's why I'm drinking this. But I think if I do 2 sets of these races, get my name etched in Sparta. That's the goal.
Like literally.
Yeah, I literally do that.
That's not some
look it
term.
up. And I was making it up. Yeah, look it up. Yeah, but anyway, I'm not invincible like the character in the show. Who also isn't super invincible because it has to beat a lot, is what I noticed in the show.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. But if you guys don't know, I'm sure most of you do if you're watching this episode. But Invincible is about it's a Robert Kirkman comic book. Robert Kirkman is famous for Walking Dead and a number of other major comic book hits. And this was his Spider-Man. He wanted to make a kind of like a Spider-Man but Superman type thing also.
Yeah.
So this is Invincible is his Peter Parker essentially, and it's about very similar to Superman. He's the son of a superhero from another planet, and he's getting his powers and he's trying to learn how to be a superhero.
Right.
And turns out his dad is not who he seems to be.
Right.
He's there to actually claim the world for the Viltrumites. And a big old thing ensues.
Yeah, setting up to be conquered. That's pretty much what the first season was about.
Him,
getting his powers and him trying to live up to what he figures his dad's expectations might be, but really his own expectations. And then his father has to tell him the truth because now he can't just be living on the planet having a good time. And it turns out he comes from a race of Kryptonians, if you want to compare to anything, just without the kryptonite. I mean, I think they do have their weaknesses of sorts that we haven't gotten into yet, but and they go around, they conquer planets, and the whole reason why his father, Omni-Man, is on Earth is to conquer the planet, get it prepped for the Viltrumites when they decide to show up and fix everything according to them.
Yeah.
So now the honeymoon's over. Now he's got to get to work with his mission, Omni-Man, with his mission of conquering the planet, which is going to entail getting his son on board, which he clearly is not because he grew up
on Earth
thinking about being a hero. On Earth, thinking about being a hero, trying to be what he thinks his dad is.
Yeah.
So, there's all that. And then what happens in the first season is they come to a head. They get in a really big fight. Lives are lost on an epic scale. And his father eventually leaves. So now we pick up the second season is with Mark. He's back in one piece, essentially, physically, but maybe not mentally.
Yeah.
With everything that happened. So he's still trying to
just be a good superhero.
Invincible.
You
watch the show, you get it.
Titles they always do. I love how they do that intro, man. That's
I like the little joke that they kind of slip in there about it too. You know what I mean? There was one episode in particular. This is one of my likes, I suppose. Is there was one point where they said, I can't do it because I'm not, and you're waiting for, the Invincible to pop up because I'm not a superhero.
Something like that.
They kept setting up the joke that we all knew was coming, and then they wouldn't do it, So they kind of make fun of themselves in that sense, which I thought was kind of cool.
And that was a big part of the comic book is that while he was trying to do his own, Spider-Man, he also wanted to make fun of superhero tropes, and there's a lot of that in the show. I think in the comic book there's one of the first issues. Adam Eve shows up to apprehend the criminal and ends up being their teacher. And he basically just calls her, Eve calls her by name. And she's like, how do you know it's me? And he's like, you're in my class. You're not wearing a mask. What do you think? What do you mean? What do you mean how I know it's you? And there's that kind of moment. I think there's a part later on I think they make fun of multiverses also in the comic book, and
Yeah.
I think later on they reboot the comic book as a joke, but it is a reboot, but it's also kind of a joke. Yeah, so there's like he really plays on the tropes of typical comic books. And so you see that in the show sometimes.
Big time. Especially like in that first season, you see like all the, there's the Wonder Woman type character. There's the Green Lantern type
Batman,
character. Their names. And we talked about that in the first episode, that episode that we covered, season 1, with Teen Team and Guardians of the Globe. It's just, Teen Titans, Justice League. It's just, it's funny.
Yeah,
they do it in this one too.
Yeah. Because I remember when I was first reading that the leader, his name was Robot. Like, they didn't even try.
Yeah.
They did not even try. His name is Robot. That's super,
That's what he is.
Yeah, they're literally poking fun at how simple some of the superhero names are.
And they make that joke too when he comes across, who appears to be, he's like, you're dressed like a bat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't have any powers. It's just like, he's talking to this guy that's off, he's off camera. You can't really see him. Except for his cape, kinda. Which really wasn't accurate, but whatever.
Yeah.
That's his cape is you don't have any powers. You dress like a bat. Your name's pretty.
That was it. But exactly. Yeah, that I was laughing a lot about that one.
Yeah.
Or like even when he's in the multiverse and Spider-Man Spider-Man is there. It is Spider-Man. Like,
and they even kind of play off the whole thing with him. Like, I know about multiverse. This is what the Spider-Man character says.
Yeah.
I know about multiverse. This kind of thing. I'm like, oh, you guys are really just
you really play. I think
about to get sued.
Yeah, right. I think there's a lot. Yeah, I think. This Seth Rogen's production company, Seth Rogen and Evan Gold's production company that did this, same as The Boys, and so they clearly have a sense of humor about themselves and how they poke fun at things. So I think a great place to put the with
the multiverse stuff. Definitely. Yeah.
I mean, great hands to put this in.
Oh, I got you.
This show, I think, like that and The Boys, very satirical, I think.
Yeah.
But we haven't even really talked about the positives yet. But
the likes are
I mean, for me, this was like I've had my issues with Invincible in general because the comic book just didn't work for me. It didn't spark. I read maybe 20 issues. I know there's like a couple hundred and something, 160 something. I think there's quite a few. So I didn't read a lot of it. But it was never I just couldn't get into it. Like, there was something about it I couldn't get into, and for that reason, I think I let that affect my watching experience for the first season of the show.
Yeah,
I was just like, I even like, there's some crazy things happening in that. A lot of crazy things happening that are really cool, really, really gripping. But I couldn't get into it because of my thoughts on the comic book.
Sure, that makes sense.
But for this season, I think I'm past that a little bit. Like, I've gotten past the bias a little bit. Like, I've been able to kind of get rid of that mindset. And on this season, I was enjoying it for the most part. I thought it was pretty good. I enjoyed a lot about the show. The characters, I think, were all great. I think good and bad, but I enjoyed some of the multiverse stuff because I think the multiverse thing is getting kind of old in media right now. I think I was okay with it for the most part in this series. I love like how my favorite thing was really how they portrayed how hard it is to be a superhero. How hard it is to balance your life, how hard it is to your personal relationships versus your duty, responsibilities.
Right.
I love how real that was because this to me is what is interesting about a superhero.
Right.
Is not how like fun or how like flashy or how great everything is, because that's not the case in anybody's life. There's no perfect life, and so being a superhero, as great as a lot of it is, it's also equally hard, equally tough to manage, I think.
Yeah.
And a lot of like comic books or shows, especially in the older ones, don't hit on that.
Yeah.
And showing Mark's relationship with April, like that was tough.
It was great. Yeah.
That was great. So well done. Even to the point where they decide to not see each other anymore at the very end. Like, there's like, well, what's the answer? What do we do? I don't know.
And they leave it open.
They leave like that.
They don't settle. They don't say it.
Because it's obvious. This is obviously a super situation. You know what I mean? Like, it's not normal.
Yeah.
So how do you?
Which I like. Yeah.
So how do you navigate that? Right.
Yeah.
But and I thought that was incredible. The characters and what they go through, and specifically Mark.
Yeah.
And even when you see Omni-Man a little later, like his point of view also, like, I mean, he did some horrible things, but you know, he's not like, I still don't really see him as evil. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, and now there's a great line that kind of summed up a lot of this show to me, is when he's talking to the guy that's designing the costumes, makes the costumes.
Yeah, Art, I think. Or,
yeah, and I think he's like, yeah, it's not my dad, and he's like, I think he's like, even after all the crap that he did,
yeah,
I still missed him. Like, does that make me a bad person? He's like, no, that makes you human. I was like, and that's the point of the show. Like, is being a human in this situation.
Yeah.
And I think, they
just dealing with those kind of
super situations.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And I think that's so interesting to me. And that's not focused on enough. And it's so captivating, especially in like a superhero type show, you know?
Right.
And I think that knocked it out of the park. Like, I was so engaged by that part of the show for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I kind of figured that'd be up your alley. So
yeah,
I was curious what your take on that was going to be, because I know that's always been something you've said about the superhero, genres, stories, the whole. I don't know, in a sense, like deconstruction kind of thing. I don't know if that applies with this one. But you mentioned that like with Man of Steel kind of thing, it's like just not showing him flying through the air and
saving cats and
Lois, you almost caught me kind of thing. It's,
bumping fists with little Timmy and helping with his cat in the tree, like that's not interesting.
Making sure you put your glasses on, or make sure you button your shirt so nobody sees your S, just whatever kind of silly stuff. But this was definitely more realistic, and I agree. I loved it when I want to say Anissa, the other
she was like my favorite villain. She was that character was amazing.
Awesome. Yeah, she's a pretty trippy character.
Yeah.
She gets more interesting later on. But when she just appeared.
Yeah.
Like just appeared. It wasn't like she flew down and you heard it. It's like she just all of a sudden you hear somebody, calling out Mark Grayson.
Yeah.
And she's right there next to them.
In this like restaurant or cafeteria or whatever.
Yeah, like makes sense because you've got that kind of strength, those kind of abilities.
Right, yeah.
And then when she just like puts her hand on her,
April's neck,
Yeah.
It's like, come over here, I'm gonna end her life right now.
Right.
And it was like literally.
And because you see it throughout the whole entire show.
Yeah.
People are like made out of paper in this world. They get destroyed. And torn apart on a regular basis.
Right, yeah.
So when you saw that, watching, you're like, holy shit, she is really in danger right now. Because one, these guys have no issues
at all
killing people. They've got zero issue with it. And one of the most powerful people, she was probably the most powerful person on the planet at that point in time.
Yeah, exactly.
On Earth.
Yeah.
So she could do whatever she wanted, and then Mark couldn't do anything to stop her. So that was a great moment. She was just sitting there frozen. And it made sense, her reaction later on, just like
I couldn't move. I couldn't do anything.
Yeah, she knew that she was just a
breath
away from death.
You're
right. You're right. That she was nothing compared to her. That her life was in danger, and there was nothing she could do about it. And it's her trying to deal with it, which again is great because she is a good person. And an easy thing to do would have been like, doing the whole thing like, you need to make time for me. You're always running around doing this when you should have been here. The big dance was tonight, and now I missed it because you weren't here. And it would have been so easy to make this stereotypical
teen drama kind of thing.
And it would have been so incredibly stupid. But they made her very realistic, where she is already a very good person. And they kept that within her character, and she knows, like, and it was great that she felt guilty that whenever Mark was with her, she was taking Mark away from going out and saving somebody's life from doing something, that's always been like, I whenever I think about like superheroes, I'm like, like let's say Superman, for example, while you're doing your job at the Daily Planet, there's somebody on Earth you could be saving. Not that I'm like blaming him necessarily, but just in general, like if you are a superhero with those kind of powers, you should be doing that. Like every time you're not doing that, somebody's dying.
Exactly.
And it's really a big thing that they bring up on this show, that you're basically the responsibility that kind of comes with your power. When Anissa comes and she tells them like, you save like one or two people here. I'm trying to save your whole entire planet. You know what I mean? They kind of bring up that point, and it's an interesting conundrum to be like, and I know I've I've got stories of my own that kind of deal with that same thing, where anybody watching the show might think, well, wait a minute, on a surface level,
yeah,
you're just going to be like, these guys are coming to take over Earth, get them, they're bad, all that kind of stuff. But they're coming to take over Earth, and they're going to get rid of disease.
Yeah.
No one's going to go hungry. Crime is going to be non-existent.
Yeah. Environment's going to be saved.
Right.
Yeah, all the stuff.
Really, everything is going to improve. Right. So then it comes into, well, shit, maybe we should just let them.
Yeah.
Let something come. What's the worst that can happen? We don't know. We don't know necessarily how they rule. I mean, there are a lot of people that are kind of rebelling against them in the universe, it sounds like.
Yeah.
But it also sounds like they do it because they just straight up conquer people, you know? But what would be the bad thing if aliens were to come down and say, we're going to fix all your stuff? No one's going to be hungry. No one's going to want for anything. Basically, everything that you have in your life that stresses you out, that you worry about, is going, like 90% of it's going to be gone. You don't have to worry about it anymore.
Yeah.
People are going to be, realistically, people are going to be tempted by that.
Yeah.
You know, even in the world today, like people are willing to, I'm not going to get into politics, I swear, but people are willing to make certain sacrifices when something like fear is involved. You know what I mean? Like you're willing to be like, well, maybe I'll let this go if I get this in return, or I'll let this go if I'm safer, or my family's safer, or whatever perceived threat there is going to be taken care of. And that's kind of what the Viltrumites are offering. They haven't offered it to the planet in general, you know, but it's an interesting topic to bring up. Like, at what point do you say, no, I'm not going to do it? Like, if someone were to come down and say, hey, I'm going to rule everything and you're not going to be hungry and there's going to be no disease, is that cool? I don't know. Well, there's going to be there's no bliss, and there's also going to be no crime. At what point do you say, like, okay, conquer? Yeah. You know, we're cool. Yeah. So it's a great thing to bring up. And it doesn't feel like it's like the whole point of the show, but it's there. Yeah. You know, so it's an interesting thing to think about.
Yeah, most definitely. Ponder. Most definitely. Yeah, no, I agree. That's the interesting part too, is like, because what are they really doing that's bad, so bad, other than being in charge, you know? Because it really comes down to like a pride thing. Like, oh, I don't want someone telling me what to do. I'm an American. I want my freedom. Yeah. You're not gonna rule me, but all the problems go away. So, so it's kind of, so it's like, you know, what's the
and people are willing. Yeah, it's interesting. It would be cool if what they offer was brought to the general population. You know what I mean? I would be so curious. I don't know if that's going to happen in this show. I don't know if it happened in the comic book, but it would be really interesting for that proposition to be made to the people of Earth. And then to see how the show says, this is how people react. This is what they say. That it would be interesting. Interesting.
No, I agree. That'd be definitely interesting. And one more thing about April that I liked is that she, like, as much as she would keep saying, oh, I know what I signed on for, I know what I signed up for, I know this is part of the deal. Right. Like, even as much as she wanted that to be true, like, there really was no, like, there's no way being okay with it. You know what I mean? There's no way to really, like, to be okay with it, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
And she was trying.
Yeah, she was trying. Right. Yeah. But it was just, it was as much as she wanted to. Yeah. She was human, you know, and we all have our limits. We all have, you know, our comfort, whatever it is we need in life, you know, and she was, I think first season, I didn't care for her character really. I was like, what? I don't know why you're important here. But yeah, in this second season, I was like, I get you. I get you. Like, you more than anything, you know, anybody in this show. So, yeah, no, great. Yeah, great.
Yeah, and it's interesting too that when, like, if you compare it, the same situation with Mark's mom, Debbie, and Omni-Man. Oh yeah, like, I don't think they had the same level of stress, because it sounds like when they first were dating, it was just him sweeping her off her feet, flying, you know, to exotic places in the world, and doing all kinds of stuff. There was no, you know, Viltrumite army coming after her.
Put her in danger.
Exactly. She was in zero danger. Nobody knew who she was. Yeah. And if anybody did anything to her, the most powerful person on the planet was there to stop her. Mark is extremely powerful, but he's not the most powerful person.
Yeah, he's not Omni-Man.
Yeah, especially not when other Viltrumites show up.
Yeah.
You know, he's definitely.
Oh yeah, no contest with those guys.
Yeah,
because even Omni-Man, like he lost to the Viltrumites when they showed up. You know what I mean? I mean, he put some damage in. He did some damage, but he ended up getting put down by him. Yeah, by the dude that was holding his guts in like that.
Yeah, that was nuts. I'm like, this guy is still alive?
Yeah, your guts are out, man.
Right. He literally had them like bundled up.
And he was holding them,
a cape or in a pouch of some kind.
To get that one last shot in.
And he still goes, he's
like, that's a warrior right there, man. Yeah, that's the level of what these guys are.
Right.
Of how warrior like they are.
Right. Yeah. And that was cool to see. But then when I watched it, because I watched it when it first came out, then I watched it again. I'm thinking, okay, this guy has his intestines are spilling out.
Yeah.
He had basically like a pillar.
Yeah.
Or like a stalactite pushed through him.
Yeah.
And he's pinned to the wall.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking, okay, now, so the guts are spilling out.
Yeah.
And you just had like a rock put through you. You should
probably
be done.
did.
You should be done.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even understand how you did what you did. Like, if it's just the guts, I'd be like, respect, you're getting up. But now I'm like, come on, guy, your spine's gone. Whatever.
But
it was cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. But I mean, Viltrumite though, man. You know?
Yeah.
Who knows what their anatomy is like?
Yeah,
you might have the same organs as us. Who knows?
Yeah, true that.
Yeah,
it looks
maybe
like it.
Maybe they have 4 hearts. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
maybe
there's
only lost one of them.
Keep going.
Yeah,
one of them is guts.
Yeah, but let's see. Any other
likes?
I like Alan. He's because he's Seth Rogen. You know, he cracks me up. In the comic book, he is that scene is hilarious when you realize that he's been coming to the wrong planet for years.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like the way it was drawn was really funny.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but I think I like Seth Rogen. Obviously, I think I like him as an actor. So
rough.
Yeah, rough. It's cool to see him in the story a little bit more this time around. But yeah, other than that, you know, I mean, I did like seeing the alternate Earth where Mark joined up with his dad. Yeah.
Yeah, and apparently it seemed like that's a lot of alternate realities where he teams up with them.
Mm-hmm.
And even like Debbie gets on board too.
Right.
His wife.
Mm-hmm.
So that was interesting.
That's how the show opens, right? I think that's like the first episode.
Yeah, that's how it opens. Yeah, it opens with we see like this darker version.
Yeah, the world.
Mark of Invincible, and they're fighting Invincible and all that kind of stuff. So
yeah. It's not anything else you want.
Oh man, I'll try to keep it quick. I liked when like the Lizard League, like these guys who were a bunch of like basically losers.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they were supposed to be. I don't know if they're so far as they're based on like Cobra from G.I. Joe, like these inept guys that are always getting beat kind of thing.
Yeah.
And even the Lizard King was like kind of like this kind of this sissy kind of character kind of thing, a little bit like Cobra Commander was. But yeah, when they come across the Guardians that are on Earth and the Guardians
wipe them out, man.
Demolished.
Yeah,
I'm like, geez.
Yeah, I was like, oh damn, man, like, you guys are getting wiped out. Yeah, they're like murdered.
Yeah, and I mean, there are only 3 of them, right? So I don't know why you don't expand it because you see there are other heroes in the world, right?
Yeah.
So you need to put them on the list, so it's not just these.
At least reserve guys, you know what I mean? Yeah, something. Yeah.
And I know when I saw like what happened with Duplicate, I was like, oh yeah, come on. Like, I mean, it was cool, but I'm like, if you were a fighter and in that situation, you had her powers, like, would you send your clones to do the fighting, or are you gonna run up there and fight someone that's like stronger? You know what I mean? It's like it makes more sense to be like, you guys go.
My clone would be in the closet or outside in the truck still, or like
I mean,
my main one, my original body. I wouldn't send.
Yeah, exactly.
You always have one on reserve. She needed always to have one on reserve, right?
Yeah, and that was great too when I think his name's Komodo Dragon or something like that. He grabbed her and she tried to duplicate. And she couldn't duplicate. Yeah.
That's her name, right?
And she couldn't do it. And she's calling for help. I'm like, oh, she's really in trouble. But then she got away, and then she got again.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? But then there's actually a pretty good payoff at the end of it. Like 9 times out of 10, I would have been like, that's BS.
Yeah,
but
why is she still around?
Yeah, but the way what they did at the end of the show is like, okay, that makes sense because, like I said, there's why would you do that?
Yeah.
Why would you put yourself?
She did, so really she did plan, like, obviously, to do it that way. But I think the reasoning was much better than I thought it was gonna be.
Exactly.
I thought it was gonna be like, I'm just kidding on my life. Let's go back to being heroes. But like she was trying to die, and quote unquote, like, so everyone fake her own death essentially, so she wouldn't have to be around and do anymore.
Because they were all connected. She felt whatever
every single one of them,
everyone was doing. Yeah. And they did that throughout the show. You know what I mean? Like, you'll see duplicate when it's something else going on with one of the other ones that, they all feel it kind of thing. So they kept that consistent, which was cool.
Yeah.
One cool thing there's a lot of good things that I like about the show, but I'm just trying to think of some other little weird things. Like, do you remember like the jail cell they showed where they had the Mauler twins? And they showed these other guys, like these multiple guys that were in another jail cell. Do you remember seeing that? Okay, well, there was.
Okay. Yeah.
So take my word for it.
Yeah.
When they would show the jail cell where the Maulers were being kept, they would pan across and, going down the aisle, and you would see these other guys that they were reminiscent of Duplicate. You know what I mean? Because you saw like 5 or 6 of the same guy in a cell. And I was like, who the heck are these guys? And I kept waiting for them to say something because they did it in the first season.
Oh, okay.
They showed them, and then they showed them again in this season. They never talk. They don't do anything. It's just they show them. And I found out that, there's Duplicate. Because I was trying to think of what could they be like? Something Kate, something. They were multiple. They have multiple. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, but it's Kate's twin brother.
Oh, well, he's a villain.
He's a villain. He's a bad guy. So, and again, it comes from a family curse, and it's like some seventh grandchild, seventh son. So when those twins were born, each one had the power.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's actually good. That's a good origin. Yeah.
Yeah. The world is very, there are worlds where there are curses. Clearly, there's magic. There's people being born with, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, what's it? Rexplode.
Yeah.
His power, like, I assumed he was a mutant or something, right? So I assumed when Robot cloned his body, I'm waiting for him to have those powers too. Like, it's gonna be awesome. These 2 people with, explodey stuff. But I guess Rexplode's power is apparently I found out like his family sold him to some sort of like, secret organization or whatever, because they were really destitute. They sold him, they got a bunch of money, and they trained him to be like this high tech, assassin-ish kind of guy, and they gave him those powers. So it's interesting. Like
everyone has a lot of people have a good rich background. Huh?
I was hoping they're going to do more with it, but maybe they still will. But yeah, overall though, no, the show, I enjoy the show. I like that they do tackle some bigger issues. That it is a little bit. It's more than what you think it might be on the surface, like you said, of just a guy flying around and having powers and everything's great. Yeah, he's dealing with that drama. His mom is dealing with the drama. I loved it when she told that when she's in that support group and leaving the bar, and she tells this guy who she is and why she's there. Yeah. And I think the first time I saw it, I was like, that guy's being a jerk, right? Because you went through crap. She's going through crap. Yeah. Maybe don't be a jerk, right? You know what I mean? Because it wasn't her fault, clearly. Yeah. But the fact that he kind of turns on her, not in a really aggressive way, but turns on her and is like, you know what? She's like, I didn't know. And so, well, you should have. And he's pissed about it. It's like, don't come back to the group. You won't be welcome there. And I was, again, first time I saw it, I'm thinking like, this guy's a jerk, right? But then when you think about it too, like, it seems like it is actually a pretty natural reaction, right? So like if somebody is a serial killer or whatever, and then you see that person's married to the serial killer, and that person's always like, when you see them on court or on TV, oh, I didn't know. And you know what I mean? And then the person's like, well, you killed my wife, brother, sister, husband, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Then that person's going to feel like you should have known. You were married to this psychopath. You should have known. We see it from her perspective because we were there in that first season. So we get how she didn't know.
Right. Yeah.
Someone from the outside is going to be like, you should have known.
Yeah,
That's
you're
what they
married to
always
this guy.
say. Like,
Yeah.
how did you not know
Right.
that this guy was like this? You know?
Yeah. That's I guess that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a little bit different because there's no way she could be following him to where he was killing people.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't bringing him back to the house and like have a secret dungeon or something.
No.
So it's different.
I get it. But, like I said, that's the reason why she wouldn't have known.
Yeah, but it's almost the same thing, the exact same thing.
Because I was looking at it from that guy's perspective. The only thing he's going to be thinking about is my whatever it was, wife, girlfriend, whatever, is gone because of your husband. And you should have. I mean, that's what people always kind of say and do. It's like, you should have known.
Yeah,
so
I agree
see it
from whatever,
from his perspective. We're on Debbie's side, but I see it from
this dude's
perspective. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. I was cool. I was cool with the alternate dimensional stuff. It was kind of creepy to see how many times Mark like joined up with his dad. Yeah, like that Langston.
Guy.
That
I did like how he became so distorted because his mind was blended with all of their experiences.
So it makes sense.
Yeah, so he couldn't tell if this was a good mark or a bad mark because there were so many memories of other versions
of the bad marks.
Yeah. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff I liked about the show. I liked what's that name? The Martian. There were some little dumb jokes in there, like, oh yeah, those are the missiles I was telling you about.
Oh,
like, they're gonna fire missiles at you. Oh yeah, they're there right there. So,
I did. Yeah,
come on, guy.
I did. I like how obvious he wasn't a human.
Stupidly
it was
obvious.
so dumb, but it made me laugh so much. And like everybody knew immediately. Yeah. There's that one scene where Rex explodes. Like he's like, what planet are you? Like, dude, where are you from?
Seriously,
seriously, where are you from? Because like it's like clear from like day one. This guy's like an alien.
And then like when it comes to a head, like Doc Samson's like, maybe you got some explaining to do, and they're like, all right, friends, I got something to tell you. It's like, yeah, you were a Martian, we know. And Doc Samson's like, what? Everybody knew?
Everybody? Oh
like,
yeah, Doc.
Like, how did you not know Doc Samson? Like, you almost saw him go from human to Martian to human again.
Yeah.
And I thought that was just like the joke, or you know what I mean? They're just it's just a riff or whatever. But like how could you not know from day one
that this guy was not
exactly. I was a human baby born.
I was a human baby.
Stupid crap.
Yeah. No, that was super funny to me. How just ridiculous that was.
Yeah, but man, there's a lot.
Yeah,
I actually like the show a lot. The fact that you do get to see like just some straight up action and fighting and blah blah blah, but it does go on some deeper. They really dive into some stuff. Yeah. And again, what it's like to be a hero in this kind of world, essentially.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
Cool.
You got any negatives?
I only really had one, and this was I'm not sure if this is how I felt with the comic book, why I wasn't super into it. There are a lot of times where they introduce a different plot point that doesn't get followed up on, I think.
Okay.
And then it was or just they would it was weird to me how they made that Langstrom guy the main bad guy when you don't see him for like 6 episodes.
Right. They kind of establish him like in the beginning.
Yeah, in the first
what he was going to be, and then you don't see him again until the end, basically.
Yeah, and then at the end of episode 7, you see him on the phone, like, I'm going to come after you or something like that.
Right.
And then I was like, where have you been this whole time, dude?
Yeah.
Like, why was that not the focus of this whole story? Like, everything else was the focus. And then all of a sudden, this is the main point of the show.
Yeah.
Even though he's only been in 3 episodes of the whole season. Like, so there was, that was kind of weird to me that was, that ended up becoming the main.
That's why I was kind of expecting like an episode 9, in all honesty.
Yeah.
I thought this couldn't be the end of it. Thing.
Yeah, I would have been.
Not, but.
Yeah, I mean, I would have been cool with, like, as cool as I thought his character ended up becoming. I would have been fine without any of that, and just maybe the point of it was with his dad and with his new brother and that kind of stuff. Like that was, there was already plenty going on in there. We didn't have to wrap it up with this kind of like,
or do something more in the 3rd season with him or something.
Right? Yeah.
I mean,
exactly. Because
I hear you.
That was kind of like abrupt. I was like, oh, remember this guy from the first one? This is the climax of the show.
How he set all this up and all this is going on with it, and he's gone.
Yeah, exactly. And then and then he's back, and then he's gone. Again, like, does he kill him or?
I mean, at the end of that episode, it looks like he.
Oh, he does. Yeah, because that's what kind of makes him like feel bad about killing him. Yeah. So there, like, it was that, and there's just like, I just feel like they're kind of trying to inserting like random things in it that I didn't really get. Like, there's that one scene, I think in the 8th episode, where those 2 explorer girls, like, they end up in that tomb with that mummy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Mummy's just like, oh, I need to curse a man. It's like, oh, that's sexist, and then that's it. That's just one standalone scene.
That's got to be a bigger setup because I think they started that in the first season.
Oh, I did?
Because they show a guy going to a tomb, and who they find his body later.
Yeah.
And this guy comes out and he's like, oh, blah, blah, blah. I want to say it's like it might be like if it's not in the first episode, it might be in the second episode.
Oh, the first season
1.
Oh, okay. It's been a little while since
so they're really doing like some sort of like really.
Yeah, and I actually tried to like Google it and look into it, and they're like, "Oh, this isn't from the comic book, so we don't even know what this is."
It's weird.
It was weird. It happened at a weird part of that episode. Like, there's a bunch of shit going on.
It's and then, like just don't forget.
Yeah, and then cut to a shovel in the ground.
Yeah,
and these two girls are looking for a tomb, and I was like, "Who are they?"
Yeah.
And then that part ends, and then I was like, "The fuck? Like, what was the point of these kind of random? Maybe it's a long game. Maybe they're gonna do something each season and it'll wrap up somehow.
Yeah, which is cool. But I figure in my opinion, if you want to do the long game, maybe do more than one scene per episode.
Yeah, or per season.
Yes,
one little small scene.
One scene per season. Right.
Yeah, it was very jarring of a transit. Like it was like literally a lot of shit going on, then that, and then a lot of shit going on again.
Back up. Yeah.
I was like, what's going on here? So I think Invincible is kind of like they introduced like the multiverse. They introduced the the thing with Mark's dad and his girlfriend. I mean, that's all fine. It's all good stuff. But like, it was just like pick one to focus on and don't introduce different subplots for things that you're not going to resolve. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like that was kind of annoying to me after a while. I started noticing that as I was getting further, because I was able to watch all of them in a row. I didn't start the first season until it all ended. So I watched all 8 episodes in a row. Yeah. And it was just like this would get introduced and then not resolved, then this would get introduced, and it was just kind of like it felt like too much like a comic book. And it shouldn't have been like that. They shouldn't have been like putting random plot points in that weren't getting resolved. I think that was just a little weird to me. So
it seems to me, as far as going back to the Angstrom character, is it Angstrom? Is that right? I feel like that's what he said.
Angstrom or Langstrom, right?
Langstrom? I want to say it was with an A.
Angstrom?
Okay. Angstrom.
Sounds right.
I don't know. It's not right.
Big brain dude.
Yeah, big brain.
Big brain. Yeah.
Big brain dude.
Big brain dude, yeah.
So big brain dude, like...
I know you gotta keep going with it. That was
right?
Good. Yeah, I'm good.
Say the black guy? Like, what do you want me to say, man?
No, I didn't think you're gonna keep it going.
So it almost feels like the character was almost brought up and introduced just to, I don't want to say be cannon fodder, like just for him, just to be someone for Mark to kill. Yeah. Later on, and then for Mark to deal with the turmoil of having killed someone. Yeah. Kind of thing. Because otherwise, like, what was the point? I feel like he had more of an impact in the comic book. I didn't read all the comic book. It's just like stuff I learned along the way. But I feel like he had more of an impact in that. And the character is very, very interesting. Yeah. That he, and again, I'm with you with the whole multiverse thing being tapped out, but I think the way they are doing it with him was very cool. Like he had 100% altruistic reasons. He was literally trying to do the right thing. Yeah. And the accident that happens to him is because he kept trying to do the right thing. Yeah. He tried to save Mark from being killed. Yeah. And then like a terrible thing happens to him. So you feel bad for him. I did anyway, like through the whole thing. Yeah. But the character was so interesting. What he was trying to do was very interesting. And the way he was trying to do it was very interesting. Yeah. I mean, the concept, I suppose, is he was essentially bringing in a lot of toxic people. Not necessarily toxic, but they had a lot of drama, or trauma that they were dealing with that kind of got funneled into him. So the character was very, very interesting, just for him to be someone for Mark to kill later on, and that's it. It would have been cool to see, maybe he talks with Mark a little bit more. Yeah. Talks about, you're good with, and again, it seems like it's like he's a smart guy, but again, like you said, he's got all the other baggage from the other ones kicking in, so that's probably overwhelming him. Yeah. But it would have been cool for him to be, to have more more of an opportunity, I suppose, supposed to talk with Mark and be like, I'm not the bad guy. You know what I mean? It's the other ones are bad. I'm sorry that happened, but I'm not the one. You're picking on the wrong guy, essentially.
Yeah.
But yeah, an interesting character, and then they just kind of kill him later on. And like, how do you know you're not killing him when you're beating the hell out of him, and there's blood everywhere, everywhere. Like there's not that much blood in the human body, kind of thing.
Yeah,
I mean, there's a lot of blood in the human body. But, and I think that I'm gonna jump into another kind of issue I had with the show. Still love the show. I still like it, but I think in the first season, when you saw the amount of blood in it, like typically you don't see that in something animated, right? So it had more effect, I think, on the show. When you saw it, it was like, oh wow, that's a lot of blood.
That's
someone's
real
hurt.
Human meat bag.
Yeah, there's something going on, right? There are consequences when civilians were getting killed.
Yeah,
it makes sense. But in this season, it's like they said, people really like the blood, so let's triple it.
Yeah,
and just make it everywhere. So like. There's blood like all over the place. Like when Mark gets punched once, he's gushing blood.
Oh yeah.
Even after the fight's over, like I remember, like after the fight was over and he goes back to see Amber, I was like, "How is your nose still bleeding?" You know what I mean? Like wipe that off and
plug it up.
Plug it up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it. I mean, with the healing factor these guys seem like they have pretty good recuperative factors. Yeah. So, anyways, my point is, I feel like they went too extreme with the blood. It doesn't have the same impact that it had in that first season. Like when you saw it there, it was real, or it felt more real. And now it's just like, oh, you're doing too much
for a shock thing.
Yeah. More than anything
very
else,
Guardians 1 to Guardians 2 transition. Like, oh, everyone liked this. Let's turn it up to 11.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like,
Yeah, we had it right the first time.
Yeah. Even with Anchorman too, like Anchorman.
Oh, same. Yeah, I remember saying that.
Man, like dial it back.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, that makes sense. I didn't even notice that, but yeah, now that I'm thinking back, yeah,
a lot of it. But overall, though, I mean, I still like the show.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure I could think of another negative. I can't really think of too many other negatives with it, though. You got anything else, or
no? That was pretty much it, man. I didn't really have any other issues. I really enjoyed the ride, man. This is what I think superhero. This is what we need for the superhero,
right.
the series or movie world. I think this is the fresh take that we need about superheroes, about humanity, about what it means to be a superhero, consequences and positives, all that stuff. I think that's important for the superhero genre at this point in time because it's tough out there for superhero movies.
Everything is so like whitewashed and generic. The superhero stuff right now. So this is a very welcome change in that.
Yeah, very fresh and very exactly what we need. I think. Yeah.
One thing I want to throw in really quick before I forget necessarily. Stephen Yeun's voice acting, I think he's fantastic.
Yeah,
he's really putting in the voice.
Yeah, I don't even recognize his voice really. Like I don't recognize him. I wouldn't have like guessed. Oh, that sounds like Stephen Yeun to me. He's definitely acting.
Exactly. I think I feel like he's swinging for the fences. I feel like he knows, like he's the he's the main character. On this show. So if he just brings his 100% his acting game to his voice, I think he knows that it's it'll just help put the show over that much more. So
because I don't know how he did it, but he sounds like this kid's age.
Yeah,
like he really does. Like he sounds like a kind of a young adult. And Stephen Yeun's in his 40s, right?
Oh, I got no
idea. Late 30s, I think.
He's an older guy, definitely.
Yeah, 40s for sure. Yeah,
exactly. But
I mean, he's Asian. We can't really tell.
I was gonna say, he looks young.
Yeah, looks young, but I think he's in his 40s though. I think if I had to guess. So great job. He's fantastic.
And just the way, like the inflections in his voice and how it goes up and how it gets a little high pitched when he's frustrated and mad and just like he snaps kind of thing. It's fantastic.
Fantastic voice
acting. I love that.
Yeah, and then did you know that Britta does the voice of Adam Eve?
Yeah.
I started catching it. I started catching. I was like, wait, I know that voice. I know that voice. Yeah, it was definitely Britta. Her real name
got a lot of I would have been able to tell you a second ago, but when you said Britta,
that's all I thought about. Yeah.
There's a lot of good voice actors. Or a lot of good actors in this show. I was thinking too, because I know it. I just figured it would have been really cool to see if they could get the actors in the studio together some kind of way and have them acting off of each other.
Right.
Because I know there was one part where when he first goes to when Mark first goes to Thraxis and he meets his dad, and his dad's like, and he's mad at him. There's a great scene where he sees him and he hugs him. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it though. That's your dad, so I get it.
Yeah, very human.
Very human. There are parts where he was like pissed, and I feel like it would have been cool if he and like J.K. Simmons could have been in the room together.
Yeah,
that would have been great for those guys to act off each other, as opposed to like record this and
be angry.
Yeah. Because I figure like when J.K. Simmons is in the theater, or when he's in the studio, I should say, in the booth, like just say these lines, this is what's going on, and he does it. But I feel like if he could have heard how Steven was playing the character, how angry he was, it would have affected how he played Omni-Man.
Yeah, true.
Role.
Yeah.
So
or vice versa. That reminds me, I was listening to this podcast.
Geek on the Street?
No, with Jake Johnson from New Girl. He's from like other shows, but he has a podcast.
Yeah.
I guess he was in a movie, and he had a scene with J.K. Simmons. And so they did the scene. I think J.K. Simmons was just there for the one scene or something like that, or for one day of shooting. And he said he did the scene. After it was done, the director or somebody came to Jake Johnson. He's like, "Hey man, like that was great, but you didn't really act. You just kind of listened. You just kind of listened to J.K. Simmons."
He's
and
like, yes, J.K. Simmons.
Yeah, right. So I was like, I'm sure J.K. Simmons, he has that effect on you. As an actor, if you're performing with him, you probably feed off of what he does. I think. Or you're whatever.
Starstruck.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Intimidated, by what he's doing. Yeah. But I watched Whiplash the other day, man.
I still need to watch that. I heard it's
you haven't seen it yet?
Stupid good.
He is so good, man. J.K. Simmons is so good. Anyway, but
I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there were a couple of great moments where they really poked fun of themselves in this show as well. Like I mentioned that earlier, but I think that's great. Again, not just like the whole team kind of thing, but that part where he goes to Comic-Con.
Oh,
and he's like, sometimes the voice actors, like they cover up the mouth. He's like, I never noticed.
I never noticed it.
With his hand in front of his mouth. And
so
sometimes they'll do panning shots when
they'll show the whole convention, but nobody's really doing anything in there.
It's not even moving.
Yeah, it's not even moving. Yeah.
Or we'll show the back of somebody's head. Animation takes a long time.
Yeah.
Because I mean that's one of the things about this show is like, what took so long for season 2 to get out?
Yeah, because season 1 was out like what, 2 years
21,
ago?
I want to say.
Oh man, almost 3 years ago. Then
was it 20? I want to say it was 21.
Yeah,
but the fact that it took so long for the next season to come out, and then when they dropped it, like they dropped like the first 4 episodes, then there was a break, and I'm like, why'd you even drop it? What's happening?
Yeah.
But so I mean, it doesn't make it right. I'm so mad about it.
Yeah.
But so that's a positive and a negative. I like that they did, kind of poke fun at themselves in that moment. Like,
and they took that criticism and
incorporated into the show.
Addressed it kind of,
Sometimes they'll do close-ups and the artwork's even better.
Yeah.
It was, that
was pretty funny.
Very dumb, but it was funny. A lot of funny stuff like that.
Definitely. Cool. So any final thoughts? Where we at rating then, I guess?
Ratings. I'm gonna. That's a tough one. I feel like I've given out 90s in the last couple episodes.
So have I.
But you know what? I think as far as maybe just as a show in and of itself, I'll probably give it like a solid 91 maybe.
Okay. Yeah.
But I will say this though too, as far as a superhero show is concerned, I might bump it up to like a 95 kind of thing.
Okay.
Because again, the action's there, the stakes are there, there's humor, there's seriousness to it. So I think as far in the superhero category, it's a good show. And I'm just gonna say, I would say drop what you're doing if you're in it. Especially, I mean, if you I know some people aren't into animation or whatever, but if you're watching the show and you're into that, if you're into superheroes and that kind of thing, I think this is a show you should watch. So I would say drop what you're doing.
Fair, yeah, no, definitely. So for me, I'm gonna give it like an 88, and here's why. My main reason is because while we just had a lot of good things to say about the show, I think I mostly just praised it this whole time because it was great and refreshing because of the current climate
like in comparison,
of superhero shows. I think on its own, I'm not going to use the word generic because it does stand alone on its own. But if you are taking into account like the comedy, the type of superheroes there are, the type of action sequence there are. It is similar to other superhero shows, I think, in some ways. Just added with the violence up,
Yeah.
So I think I'm not sure like if I would have seen this show. Like it's not like Daredevil to me. Like the Daredevil show, which is probably one of the best live action shows I think we've ever gotten.
100% agree. Yeah.
It's not. It doesn't seem like it's as groundbreaking as that. I think it's really good because of how shitty everything else is. In some regards.
Yeah.
But there wasn't I enjoyed the show. I did have fun with it. But there wasn't there wasn't a Daredevil moment for me where I was just like oh shit, like that part where like the part with Punisher and Daredevil on the roof had that conversation. Nothing I've seen has come close to that scene to me.
Yeah.
So like there wasn't like I wasn't like my hair wasn't standing up on my arm, for Invincible. But at the same time, a good show.
Yeah.
A good show. So I'm feeling like an 88. So I'm
that's
not
cool.
quite at Drop What You're Doing. Well, okay, I guess I'm like Drop What You're Doing
good.
because of the climate. Because this is the best thing you'll see right now that's current in the superhero world.
Yeah.
You're not going to get this from Marvel or DC or any of those other superhero places. This is the best thing you're going to get. But overall, you're taking into the entire like catalog of superhero shows, maybe stream it for me.
Okay. No, that's cool. I respect that.
Makes sense,
and I know we've talked a little bit like off camera. I know that's how you kind of had a feeling about the show. I'm actually surprised that you gave it as good as a rating as you did. I'm going to, surprisingly, wait for it. You don't know what to say. You don't know what to say.
I guess I don't.
You don't know what to say.
I guess I don't.
I'm gonna disagree with you.
I had no clue. No idea you're gonna say
that. Because and again, it's this is neither here nor there. It's not like good or bad or who's right and who's wrong. It's just I guess perspectives, I suppose. But I think when you compare it to everything that we've seen as far as superhero things are concerned, going back with all the Marvel stuff from the beginning in 2008 up until now, I feel like it's still a good show. I still I still feel like it is in that upper echelon of stuff, just because of the consequences and the choices that are made in this world. Is it as good as the Daredevil live action series? I wouldn't say that. I mean, it's tricky to compare something animated and something live action anyway.
True,
but let's just compare it all anyway because it's all superhero stuff. The Daredevil live action thing, I was like, my mouth was like open the whole time, and it's so you're like, I feel like I'm running around the house like it's fantastic. There's nothing like it. So it's tricky too to compare it to like the best thing we might have seen as far as live action stuff is concerned, and then comparing it to like all the like the substandard stuff that's in there. I would definitely say it's more on that upper echelon of stuff. You know what I mean? I don't know if I'm gonna necessarily say like it's Daredevil and then Invincible. But I don't know. Not really thinking about it, but maybe like within the top 5 of superhero stuff.
Oh, really?
Maybe.
Okay.
I'm not, like I said, I haven't like compared everything. But the fact that like there's so many like civilian casualties that the good guy, the hero, is so outgunned, outclassed, and he still has to find a way to make it work. He's got to make his life work. And then all the secondary characters, they've got to make their life work too. It's great. So I'm gonna like I said, it's neither here nor there. But I think the show is great. One of the last thing I forgot to tell. Oh, do you want to say? Go ahead.
No. I'm gonna say that's fair. That is fair, and I don't disagree with why you're saying that because there are, again, can be considered one of the better shows. But I think like for me that there just wasn't enough of a through line focus for the storytelling wise, and it's meant to be a kind of a violent show, but also there's comedy and there's that stuff in it. For me, like I that's why like Man of Steel to me is like one of my favorite movies because it's a through line. It's pretty much all about Superman figuring out who he is, dealing with the consequences of who he is, and you're following that story, and it has that same tone basically through the whole thing. For Invincible, it's a series. It's longer, so there's more room for it to kind of not to fall apart, not quite be as
drift.
Yeah, which you know is okay for what they're trying to do, but for me as a taste wise, if you're gonna do something groundbreaking, you know, do something groundbreaking.
Yeah.
But this is I think there are too many different things in it, keeping it from being like a perfect show.
I gotcha. I hear you.
So yeah. But anyway, so you're gonna say
no. What I wanted to say, because that's pretty much it.
Oh yeah.
You know, but one thing I forgot to say was, and I feel like I'm really changing the tone right now. With Cecil, his character.
Oh yeah.
I feel like he does not get enough respect, especially from like Debbie and Mark.
Yeah.
He's always very nice, very cordial with them.
Yeah.
He's never talked to them in a negative or a bad way.
Oh yeah.
Never disrespect them.
Yeah.
And they're always very short, very curt with them. And I'm like, this guy's trying to keep the whole entire planet safe.
Yeah.
He's on 24-hour duty, keeping the whole entire planet safe. He's clearly got some scars from it. From doing his job. And you guys are just a bunch of, it's my family. How dare you do this? Whenever I see the three of them in a room together, especially with Debbie, I love Debbie's character. But whenever I see them with Cecil, and he's like trying to, hey, we can do this, we can help with that. Like, don't worry about it. I want to slap the fuck out of both of them. Like, show some respect for this guy that's trying, like I said, he's trying to keep the whole entire planet safe. He's juggling all this stuff. He's walking on eggshells around you. Kind of thing.
He doesn't have to be respectful or nice.
He doesn't have to be. It's like the world is in trouble right now. You get on board my program or get out.
Right, yeah.
Leave Earth.
That's fair.
Kind of thing. And if he wanted to, he could. I mean, Mark could definitely be trouble. But I mean, it's not like, but he needs him, right? So he can't, talk bad to his mom. He can't do, whatever. So it bugs me to no end. Like, this guy's got the responsibility literally of the world, and he's just essentially asking for help in addition to asking if he can help you. And you guys are just a bunch of fucking assholes whenever he talks to you.
That is, I think that I agree with you to an extent, because I do think Cecil does, like, again, he's polite and he's respectful when he is trying to help in his own way.
Sure.
But I also don't necessarily trust him either. Like, I think it's right for them to be like, oh, well, I'll take care of Omni-Man's new son. When it's like, you're going to take care of him and what? Groom him to be a soldier for you?
I definitely wouldn't hand over a baby to him. You know what I mean?
Because I think he has his own motives also.
Right. I think his motives are to keep the world safe.
No, definitely.
It's just that.
At any cost, right? Is what it seems like. But that doesn't mean that if he's like, if he says like, I want what's best for Omni-Man's new kid and to raise him so he's safe, I don't believe that.
And
I don't trust.
If he said that, I would have been like, I don't trust. I don't believe you either.
Well, because he was saying that because he was like, we have agents that can handle this thing. I can assign you an agent to help you. To help you raise this kid. She said, I don't trust you because you're not.
Well, I mean, I get it from that perspective. Him saying we can send someone to help because he literally had people that can help. I mean, is he going to try to maybe groom this kid to be a 100%. Of course he would. I think he probably would have liked to have done that with Mark. If he could have done it with him.
I think that's where their mistrust comes from. Not that like their treatment of him is justified. I agree. But I understand why they have the response to him, because I wouldn't trust him either. Because he's not doing it out of the kindness of his heart. He's not like he doesn't.
But he's not doing it in a mean or some sort of spiteful or diabolic reason either. Because this even goes back to the first season. In the first season, Debbie was very short with him, and he was always trying to be respectful. He's always respectful when he speaks with her and everything that he says and does, as far as they're all concerned, because he's got the task of keeping the entire planet safe. It seems like there's always something going on. So it's almost like if someone's like a general in the military kind of thing. Typically, when someone gets to that level, that they're a general or up that higher, an officer in the military, they don't have a chip on their shoulder. They're not trying to. I know you see all kinds of stuff in movies, and movies are great. But in real life, they're not walking around like, I'm the shit and blah blah blah. They're more diplomatic. They know that it's there's more of a compromise when it comes to taking care of anything. So.
Yeah, but I think though, like the way I saw it though, is that if, like, for example, if Mark didn't exist, and Omni-Man went ape shit and then left, and Debbie was just there by herself, I don't think Cecil would be like, oh, is there anything you need? Can I help you? Oh, can I rebuild your house? Can I give you money to take care? Can I get people to take care of you, to help you and get you? I don't think, because there's nothing in it for him at that point with Omni-Man gone and evil in his against him and his an enemy. I don't think he'd be going out of his way to help Debbie out if he knew that it wouldn't do anything for him. I don't think, because I don't think he has. I think he's cordial, he's polite, he's helpful, but also with that's why there's that one thing where she's like, I don't want to call him to help because putting the house back together wasn't put together great. She's like, I don't want to ask him to come back and help me again, because I don't want to owe him anything. And so I think he was always going to have that, like, well, I did this for you, so this is what I get from you.
And see, that's the interesting thing. Like, he's never done that in the show. We've never seen him in the show being like, well, I've done this for you, so you do this for me.
Not really.
I feel like he would have, if all that was going on. He had at this point, it seems like he has some kind of relationship with her, like as far as like he knows her or whatever. I feel like he probably would have been like, fix their house, because it's not going to cost him anything, not really. Fixing someone's house isn't a big deal. I feel like he is a decent person. I feel like he would have said, fix their house, do whatever, and keep an eye on her. You know what I mean? Like, in case Omni-Man shows up again or whatever. I feel like that probably would have been more realistic. And that's another thing too. Like, when Angstrom shows up in the house, I'm like, Cecil, you don't know she's in. You don't know this guy's in the house right now. You said you listen for all sorts of weird things. That's a pretty weird thing. Going on. That's neither here nor there.
That's true.
So So, anyways, different opinions on Cecil. So you watch the show and tell us what you think of Cecil.
Yeah, you let us know if he does things out of the kindness of his heart, or if he has an ulterior motive for everything he does.
Or if he is a good guy tasked with a very difficult job. So there's that too.
That's fair. Yeah. All right. Well, as always, agree to disagree.
Amen.
But yeah, cool. I guess that's gonna be it for Invincible. Check it out. Let us know what you guys think. Lastly, what are we into this week? What are we into this week? I watched watching Shogun a little bit. Shogun's really good still.
I still got to start watching.
I started watching this series called The Curse of Oak Island. It's like a
really
treasure hunting type series.
I avoid those shows, but
it might, and this is why I avoid them too. I imagine for similar reason. They never find anything ever. Like, they never ever find anything. So like,
it's just there to be like,
I imagine
it's like ghost hunters to me anyway. It's like, oh, you hear that ghost? You see that ghost?
Yeah,
there's Bigfoot. Are you sure you got him? Shaky camera.
Yeah, right. And it's very
Curse
dramatic.
Curse of Oak Island is Viking treasure or Crusader
treasure.
So
it's they don't know, but the story behind Oak Island is very interesting.
That's
the shit that cool. Because like I guess in the late 1700s, somebody like some kids were out on an island, and they found an oak tree on the island with a pulley on it.
Yeah.
And then like they started digging there, and there's like every I think 10 or 20 feet there was a platform of cut logs. Every 20 feet, and then at the 90th foot, there was a platform with like a slab in the middle of it with some like weird writing on it. So like this has been here for hundreds of years. Like, how did this all get built? And like once you got past 90 feet,
it's flooded, right?
Yeah, booby trap opened up, and there's water coming from the beach, like 200 yards inland, to fill that cavern up. And it was all built, like it's all tunneled. Everything was built, and this is like what, maybe the 1500s when it was all built. So it's very interesting. Like all this shit. Like, what is all this shit? Like, why is this all here? And why is there a booby trap? Why are there tunnels leading from the ocean? And like, why is there a man-made like shore?
It's super interesting
to build for that tunnel system. Like what's down there? Obviously it's man-made, so that's interesting. The treasure hunting part stuff, I'm like, you guys are never gonna. And now it's been going on for 9 seasons. So I'm like,
how many? 9?
It's been. I think it's season 9 now.
How do you drag that out for?
And so
9
I started watching the first season this week.
And
I was like, maybe I'll catch up to the 9th season. But I was like, if you guys haven't found anything by then, like, what are you really gonna find?
I mean, and so, I get like money's always a factor, but I mean, that's disappointing. That's very interesting. That's very interesting. But nothing. You found nothing.
Because if you find the effing like Knights Templar treasure down there, would that get freaking shown on TV? No.
Yeah, that's true.
Government's gonna step in and take all that or whatever,
Well, one thing I would say too, like by the time, let's say like season 10, for example, the last episode they find something. What would have happened by the time they found something, let's say January 1st, 2025, is when they find something, and then we see it on the show in July 30th.
Oh,
right? So by the time they find something, we would have heard about it on the news. It would have been here.
That's the biggest story of
right. So the fact that they,
there's no news about it.
Once we hear news that they found something, start watching the show because then there's going to be a pretty cool payoff.
Yeah.
But
until then,
Until then,
9 seasons in, they'll be like, oh yeah, they'll be like they'll randomly find like, oh we found a gold doubloon in here, and I was like, oh that's kind of cool, or it was passing like a Spanish coin from 1700s. Cool. Like that's kind of cool, but like it's here and there, and then there's so many like. It's very dramatized. Yeah. And they kind of like, obviously, that's what those shows are like.
I mean, I would love to have that mystery resolved.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's very interesting.
Yeah. Like what that, and oak trees aren't even like, they're not indigenous to that area. So they planted that there. Whoever was here.
Ooh, interesting.
Planted that there. And like, there was like coconut, like fibers on the tunnels to try to keep the sand out, but the water to go in. And they built these. I was like, what?
Yeah, that's a pretty elaborate building.
Right, yeah. Not like in that time, how do you build that? How would you build a tunnel underground? It's crazy. Yeah.
I figured it out.
Aliens?
One Eye Willie.
I was just listening to the
you guys.
I was listening to a podcast about the other day, but yeah, I love that part where that part, but then like when they're grabbing him and then he rips the shirt open and the Superman shirt and the Superman music plays. That just makes me laugh my ass. It's so damn funny when that happens. Like I just can't stop laughing. Yeah, good. That's a good one.
Hey, you guys. Gold.
Yeah.
Go watch the Goonies, everybody.
Yeah. But yeah, I watched a couple of episodes of that. But
that's cool. I watched. Again, I don't know if I said it before. 3-part problem.
Three body problem?
3 body problem. Yes. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting. And they bring up there's some fantastic science in that as well. Like, for lack of a better way to put it, like some Neil deGrasse Tyson level science.
It's like true science fiction.
Traveling at the speed of light is difficult. I mean, there's some really good science that they throw in there. It's like, unless you're like really like you watching it or into it, you probably didn't know about. Probably. Yeah. Or if you are into that, you're gonna be like, oh, that's cool. They brought that up. They mentioned that. Some fantastic science in it.
Really?
Some of the stuff in there, there's a lot of it's just like an amazing coincidence. Like they're these 5, people that know each other, and they all have some sort of tie-in to this world-changing event kind of thing. You know what I mean? It'd be like, if you, me, RJ, and Greg, or like the 4 of us.
Like random friends.
Something happens in the world, and you're a link to it. He's a link to it, and I'm a link to it. You know what I mean? It'd be like, really, not somebody over there in in Australia?
Oh,
no, not somebody that's doing science up in Canada. It's just the 4 of us, huh? Interesting. So there's stuff like that, but it's not that big of a deal because the story is pretty interesting. So there are some lulls in it. The first part of it is very engaging. It's very engaging, and apparently it's the show's not over, so I guess it's going to get like maybe a 2nd, 3rd season.
Oh,
it's based on a series, or I shouldn't say a series of books. I don't know that, but it is based on a book, at least one book.
Oh yeah,
so, I saw that. I saw the first episode of Fallout.
Yeah,
pretty good. I watched it late at night, so I need to rewatch it. I've never played Fallout before.
I played the shit out of it.
Oh, did you?
Fallout 3 or 4, one of the two.
Okay, yeah. One of my friends, Dave. What's up, Dave?
Dave.
He plays the bat shit out of that game. So
I love Fallout. It's so good.
That's cool. Very cool. Yeah. Right, so I watched first season of that. So yeah.
That's
about it, though.
Yeah.
That's about it as far as main stuff.
Sweet.
Yeah, let's wrap it up, man.
Let's wrap it up. Yeah. We've been doing this for a while. But anyway, as always, thanks for tuning in. Next week we maybe switching things up, so we're not sure. I'm not gonna quite announce what we're gonna do next week. You guys will be surprised by it. Yeah. But we'll talk about that next week. But we will be here as always next week. Right, yeah,
as you should.
Yeah, but seriously, guys, thanks for tuning in this long. We've been keeping the show going for a while, and we enjoy doing it.
Love you.
Yeah, love's a strong word.
No, it's not. It's not strong enough. We want to hug you and kiss you. We want to swaddle you and tuck you in at night. That's how we feel about you, the listener.
All right.
Yeah, and you feel that way too.
Okay, all right. Yeah. I did. This is my first time realizing that, I guess. But yeah,
That's why I'm here.
Cool. But anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. As always, from here at the Geek Off the Street studio, my name is Trent.
And my name is Mark.
And this has been Geek Off the Street.
Scene.
Did it. Yes.
Did it. Mazel tov. Break the glass.
And you broke one of them, so might as well break another one, right?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. Why don't we just get the one that's already broken and break that?
Good idea. Yeah, we'll just glue it together and knock it down.
Here, that'd be let's not break any glass here. Let's just make that up.